And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Letter Roll is a game that includes Letter Roll is a party game that includes rolling 20-sided dice with letters on, so that automatically interested me in the game. Letter Roll is closest, in my opinion, to Scattergories, and you'll have a distinct feeling like that, but it does have some interesting tweaks. But basically, it's a party game in knowing words and using letters. Enjoyable. If you're the sort of person who likes that kind of thing, I think you're going to find this game a lot of fun. Let's take a closer look at what's inside the box. When I open up the box for Letter Roll, inside the top I find several pads of paper, and a really nice blue lined pads of paper. And then inside you see the box insert with all the different dice, 2 different timers, and some pencils. It's actually really nicely put together, but the focus point of the game are these dice. So let's pull these dice out and take a closer look at how the round of the game works. On one player's turn, they're going to choose these dice. They're looking at these dice, and they're going to choose any of these 4 dice and roll them. Now, each of the dice have different corresponding letters. For example, the white have letters that we use all the time. You can see on there C-N-Y-O-R-G. These are letters that we use quite frequently. Then the blue letters are letters that we use quite a bit, but frequently less. And even though there's still some letters on there, which you might see often, like you can see a T on the die, but for the most part, there's also infrequent letters there. And then orange dice are mostly infrequent letters. F, B, X, C. You know, there's still a few letters on there that are used often, but, you know, the different colored die is the frequency of difficult letters. So when it's my turn, I can pick any 4 of these dice. So let's say I pick 2 white and 2 blue. I want to get a word that has common letters in it. Or if I want to go, I can pick 2 blue and 2 orange for uncommon. Or I can pick a white, a blue, you know, you can do whatever you want. So let's say you pick 4 dice here, and then I will roll those dice and look at the letters that are rolled. So here I have a Z, a T, an M, and another M. And so when it's my turn here, the player who is to the left of the person who rolls is going to pick one of these dice and move it out of play. So let's say in this instant, they pick one of the M's and move it out of play. So that leaves us with Z, T, and M, and those are the letters that are in place for this round. Then someone yells those out. Everybody is going to write those letters on the top of their sheet. So here, for example, is a sheet from a game we played where L, C, D were the 3 letters that were rolled. Players are then going to, as the timer goes, write down as many words as they can and have all 3 of those letters in them. So you can see here when LCD, that there was cold and lucid and clod and dulcet and lucked and clucked and suckled and suck and then we start another round with BMG and so on and so forth. And so everyone writes down as many words as they can, and then as the game, after the timer is done, then the lists are compared. So see here, for example, on this list, LCD, I have laced, and then the second word I put was clod. And so this player, they also put clod as their 3rd word. Since we both put the word clod, those words were crossed off. And then any word that you write down that other people have also written down is crossed off. If you are the only person with a word, you get points for that word. You write those points down on your paper and circle it. So you'll see here, this person got 6 points for the first round, 3 points for the second round, and so on and so forth. And you play a certain amount of rounds, and whoever has the most points is the winner. The reason you have different timers is to make it longer or more difficult. To get them, you can use more or fewer dice while you're playing. You know, you could change the variations to anything you want, but it also comes down to what words you allow. It's basically words that would be allowable in Scrabble. However, I guess you could change it to whatever you want as long as all players are doing the same thing. A lot of the fun comes from rolling the dice, and they did a good job with the different letters on the dice. As I said, Letter Roll bears certainly more than a passing resemblance to games like Scattergories, especially the cross off the words that everyone else has written down also. and then writing down words, looking for things from different letters and so on. But I think the dice is what makes this game more unique. You have different colored dice that you can roll. People like rolling dice anyway. For folks who like thinking up word combinations, this is a really bonanza of a game. Finding 3 letters, trying to think of as many words as you can with those 3 letters. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes you can think of tons of words. But again, you're trying to think of words that no one else will write down. I like the game a lot, more than I thought. I read the rules and I thought, it seems okay. But it actually is a game that I have a lot of fun with. Not one that I would play all the time, but certainly one that will be on my party game rotation, especially with players who like word games and thinking of words that have different letters in them. Maybe a bit more cerebral, but still a lot of fun, and it's not that difficult. Anybody can play it, and everyone likes rolling the dice.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.